Hello, and welcome to this presentation, Testing SELCAL with the CMA180. In this presentation, we'll explain how to both generate and analyze SELCAL signals using a Rohde & Schwarz CMA180 radio test set. If you're not already familiar with SELCAL, you might want to watch the presentation Understanding SELCAL before proceeding with this presentation. On the CMA180, there are two modes of testing SELCAL. The CMA180 can generate SELCAL codes, or tones, and it can also analyze SELCAL codes or tones. In this presentation, a simple RF loopback will be used to demonstrate both SELCAL generation and analysis using the CMA180. We'll prepare our CMA180 by first using the green preset button and a global preset to return the CMA180 to its default state. We'll then create an RF loopback by connecting RF COM to RF in on the front of the CMA180. Since the CMA180 will be transmitting and receiving signals simultaneously, we'll select the DX test mode from the analog scenario menu. We'll start by configuring the generator. In this example, we'll be generating SELCAL codes for a VHF radio link, so the first thing to do is to configure an appropriate frequency and level. Since we're at VHF, we'll choose AM for mode and configure a modulation depth if needed. 40 or 50% is usually a good number. If we were using HF, we would want to set our mode to upper sideband. Next, we'll leave the default 1000 Hz tone as our audio signal, but change mode to SELCAL. We can change our SELCAL settings using the small gear icon next to mode. After configuration is complete, we'll press play to start the generator. The most important SELCAL setting in the dialing configuration is a SELCAL code sequence. Remember that the two tones in each SELCAL pair must be given in alphabetical order. Also, if you're using a keyboard to enter the tones, these must be entered as capital letters. The default timing for SELCAL tones is 1 second per pair, with a 0.2 second pause between them, but these are also configurable. Finally, there's also a repeat count and pause time between repetitions if you want the SELCAL code to repeat. In the Analyzer tab, we enter the analyzer configuration and make 3 changes under RF settings. In this example, we created an RF loopback by connecting RF COM to RF in, so we need to change connector in to RF in. Next, we enable RF coupling, so our analyzer settings for frequency, power level, etc. match those configured on the generator. We also need to set the demodulation type to AM, since we've configured our generator mode as AM. And finally, we need to turn on the analysis using the play button. Since our RF signal is being modulated with a 1000 Hz tone, we should see something like this after enabling analysis. A 1000 Hz tone should also be audible if audio is unmuted and volume is set appropriately. Back in the Generator tab, we press Dial to send the two-tone SELCAL sequence. If audio output is enabled, you should hear the 1000 Hz tone interrupted by the SELCAL tones. In addition to listening to the tones, we can also analyze the received SELCAL tones. This is done by choosing dialing in the Analyzer application. We need to be sure that frequency, expected power, and mode, or modulation type, match the settings on the generator. An easy way to do this is to use the FindRF function to set these parameters automatically. We then start the analysis and use Dial in the Generator tab to send the SELCAL tones. The CMA180 receives the digits and then decodes and displays them, along with numerical measurements of the frequency and timing of the tones. So in summary, SELCAL is a type of selective calling used in aviation, and SELCAL alerts called aircraft using a pair of dual frequency tones. These tones are indicated as pairs of letters, with each letter corresponding to an audible tone. Tones are transmitted using the same frequency and modulation type as the communications channel, with AM being used on VHF and upper sideband used on HF. On the CMA180, tones are sent and analyzed using the dialing functions. Tones are set using Dial on the generator side, and are analyzed using dialing on the analyzer side. The CMA180 SELCAL analysis displays the decoded tone pairs, as well as their frequencies, deviations, and timings. This concludes our presentation testing SELCAL with a CMA180. Thanks for watching.